You're listening to the all-new Rain Man 001 on Rain Man Digital. Hello, this is Stormtrooper 1. In case you were just way too busy to listen to our last show, this is what you missed.
This trailer for me is, first off, you look from the technical standpoint, as Greg mentioned, the scaling is, of course, it's Star Wars. And I guarantee you that Star Destroyer is either a miniature, either a digital mat. I doubt it's an actual physical mat. That's almost like archaic. That's either a shot, a digital mat of an actual miniature, or a physical miniature, and that's how they shot it. Regardless, you can tell it looks like it's there, and the fact that the scaling was so spot on with the speeder flying by, you have the X-Wing in the foreground and the Star Destroyer in the back, it says so much with the image. It shows it's post-war. What did you possibly see in that hand that looks like 30 years advanced technology? That better, is it holographic? Does it jack you off automatically?
I think with this and hearing what fans say, it's just like we're sitting here doing, and we're breaking it down.
Let's keep this to our thoughts, not what we read on a fan site.
But honestly, when I take a look at it, it does look like it's an advance in technology. Because, like,
yeah, but look at R2. I mean, to me, it looks like it's Luke. It's probably Luke, and that hand looks kind of haggard. But look at R2. He's older. He's beat up.
But he's still kicking. He is still kicking.
But they've been nowhere that he could be fixed.
Yeah.
So
Luke might
maybe that's why there's no flesh on Luke's hand, because they've been nowhere to where they could.
That's what I got from. I got it like they've been on a long journey. Maybe the old hand wore out and he lost the flesh and it's just mechanical. Maybe he's fixed himself. I mean, who knows? I didn't get that it was new technology at all. Like, everybody's obsessed. Everybody in the Star Wars, I see it all over the place, not just David. I see it all over the place, that everybody's obsessed with, I could tell in 30 years the technology's a lot different here. And I'm like, who gives a flying... Obviously, technology, not you, David. I'm talking about the fans I'm reading. I'm not not you. I'm just, like, everyone's so obsessed with, I don't know if the TIE fighter would be that much different in 30 years. I'm like, what do you know? Are you an actual aircraft engineer? Jesus.
And theoretically, these aircraft
look at us in 30 years. What have we seen different since I've been born? Television and cell phones, okay? We're still driving on 4 wheels on rubber. So what has changed in 30 years? When you really think about it, like, technology wouldn't advance that fast unless, some alien race that didn't listen to the Prime Directive decide to get involved in our advancement of mankind.
This is true.
This is true. This is very true.
So I'm just, David always gets me mad with the troll talk. You always bring up trolls in here, and that's what I see.
I didn't even bring up any troll.
Yes, you said what I've been hearing from fans. You just said that a minute ago, David.
Yeah, but not all fans are trolls. All fans are trolls.
No.
Warning from the Bacta tank contains adult language and discussions. If you're easily offended, do not continue.
We would be honored if you would join us.
How are you feeling? Our latest workups on your condition indicate that all damage has been reversed. Recovery is total. I believe you have been quite fortunate. No further thanks are necessary, Commander, but you are most welcome. It is my function and pleasure as a medical droid to help and heal human beings.
I am a Jedi, like my father before me.
All right, hello everybody out there in Star Wars Radio Land. We are here for a special live broadcast. For the first time ever, a live broadcast of Star Wars from the Bacta tank on Rain Man Digital. Only available on Rain Man Digital, Rain Man Channel 001. So I know we're excited. I'm in studio with David Sabal. Hello.
Hello, you trolls.
Dustin Lucas, and then of course we have Greg.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
And we'll figure out what Greg we have today in studio, either Angry Greg or Happy Lovemaking Greg. We don't know, but we'll find out today once we get into the topics. I think as long as we stay away from Battlefront, I think we may be okay with Angry Greg. He may not show up.
We should be fine.
Now, guys, if this does well, if we do good live today, what we'll do is we'll continue to do shows. We'll just say Thursdays, 1:15 Pacific Standard Time. That's the time we go live for the show. I don't see why we don't, because we record every day on Thursday. I have all the live software in front of me, and my computer all set. Why not just push this button and go live? We have our channel, and I figured if it does good and people like the live feel, then we just do it. Right?
Yeah, sounds good.
Good.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like 1 o'clock around this time is when we're all available anyway. So give some, dude, afternoon drive, Star Wars style. We might end up, you know what I mean? Drive. Yeah, why not?
It's better than the crap that you hear on terrestrial.
That's true.
That is very
well,
true.
most. There's some good stations out there.
Nice save, dude. Nice save. So now, first bit of news. We're just going to jump right into all this. First bit of news is Disney reportedly, you know what? Also, before we get into this, if you guys are listening live and you have any type of issues listening, just send us a message on our Facebook page, as well as tweet us at From Bacta Tank, so we are aware of any tech issues, because we have nobody. I have nobody like an
There's
intern.
Nobody doing like QA listening.
There's nobody listening to the show for issues. So if there's issues, the listeners are on their own. They're gonna have to be like, "What the fuck's wrong with my phone? It's not working. The stupid thing's not working. It's all Obi-Wan's fault," and you're gonna throw it across the room. So just let us know. Be our eyes and ears, I guess, for today's show. So, anyways, all right, let's jump into the topic. Disney reportedly courting Joss Whedon to direct a Star Wars film. That's one bit of news that's kind of been sweeping the Star Wars fandom for the past 4 or 5 days now.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. Especially since the announcement of Josh Trank leaving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And out of all the rumors we've heard about who's going to direct this and who's going to direct that, I would actually believe this one, because he has a good relationship with Marvel. He has his own grievances with Marvel, but he's in good working relationships, and he's churned out great work for them. And and in that aspect, they're happy with him.
Oh yeah.
I think the problem is he's not happy with them.
Well,
you know what I mean? So if he does come on to do a Star Wars movie, I guarantee you he's going to have a whole new type of contract with various addendums attached. Saying
it's going to be attached to. I mean, he's going to essentially not be working with Marvel. He's going to be working with Disney.
And that, you know what? And maybe he will have a better working relationship with Disney themselves, even though people kind of think Disney is Lucasfilm and Marvel, and for the most part they own it. But Marvel is Marvel, and Lucasfilm, Lucasfilm. They still have their powers that be.
It's a different relationship, between the companies.
Exactly. So, again, this rumor, out of all the rumors we've had, this one makes sense to me. Like, I can buy this. Now, at first, I was like, I don't know. I mean, and you guys jump in and tell me if I'm wrong or you disagree or agree. But Joss Whedon, I don't know if I like the idea of him directing, say, an episode, the regular story, just because he has a specific style. And
I completely agree.
And when you're a director like Joss Whedon, I want you to do your style. I don't want you to mute yourself because you're doing something different. I want to see you do this movie. And I think the rumor saying he's more or less being courted for a standalone, that I would be way open for than him taking over like episode 9 or episode 8. Which,
episode 8 already has its director.
Yeah, it's Rian Johnson, right?
Rian Johnson. And he's set to take over 9, to do 9 as well if
he does well.
Possibly,
if he
does well. But with Whedon, I mean, even if they're just talking to him about a standalone, I mean, that would be awesome. I mean, he could do a Leia standalone. I mean, he could do
well, you know what? Those are possibilities too with the Leia. People don't really think that it's possible at this point because Carrie Fisher is getting up there in the age, but it wouldn't be with Carrie Fisher. If you guys remember, her daughter is already set to play her in episode 7 in flashback sequences. That were supposedly, if you believe some of the rumors, that will actually help bridge the gap between Return of the Jedi, episode 6 and episode 7. So once we have that believability that she is Princess Leia, it's going to be a lot easier for fans to swallow that. So if we were to see a standalone, I would be open to that. It'd be cool.
Yeah, that, I mean, even too, they could do one based off of, they could even bring in Mara Jade in some fashion. If they were to,
hell yeah. The Emperor's Hand.
Well, I honestly think that Josh Whedon's being boarded and brought in to be the replacement of Josh Trank standalone.
Yeah. Josh Trank, man, has been slammed in every trade magazine this past week.
But can you blame people for slamming him, though?
I said this on the last show. I have a little bit of sympathy for him because the guy's a young director. He's imagine, man, the stress on his shoulders right now. He just got done doing he's in the middle of doing Fantastic Four, which is supposedly the reason why everyone's upset with him and he lost the job. His erratic behavior supposedly is what led to his being fired for the standalone film. I feel bad for him, but at the same time, I mean, dude, if you took this job on, you better put your big boy pants on and get the job done, because this could end up hurting his career down the road, man. If he's burning bridges with major studios, it might be some time again before Josh Trank gets some legit work.
And that's one of the things I really wish I was actually in the last episode with you guys, because unfortunately I missed it.
Yeah.
But the one that when you brought that up, I really don't have any sympathy for Josh Trank, because
really,
just like what
look
you
at
said,
you all Hitlerish on Josh Trank,
dude. We come from the film industry.
Yeah.
Put on your big boy pants.
You're right.
If you can't work with people, this industry is made. The whole point is to work with people,
right? But I mean, again, look at it too, David. That he's landed. He did Chronicles. He did one other one.
Yeah,
just Chronicles. That's his only feature before Fantastic Four.
So you don't use the Chronicles. So he's had one film, and it was, I liked it.
Yeah, I thought it
didn't do so well, and then he gets handed Fantastic Four, a series that a film that's already been mired by two horrible movies.
Yeah,
and then people going, oh shit,
and then there's casting choices already being
everybody
questioned.
Started slamming the casting choices.
Oh, because Johnny Storm is black. Was that his name, Johnny Storm?
Yeah.
But see, I don't agree. I don't agree with that, though, because, the Chronicle was his first film, but he's been in the film business for a while.
But you're getting handed something that's a huge thing, especially nowadays where stuff
David,
comic books
you know what? I see where David's coming from, because if David and I are we're similar in the fact that we've been through so much shit concerning film, and we're like, listen, if you can't cut it, get the hell out the kitchen.
Yeah.
And I think that he's looking at it like a stern father, like, listen, Josh, you were handed a fucking prize.
Yeah.
And your erratic behavior, put your big boy pants on and direct a Star Wars standalone. So I get where he's coming from. I'm just trying to be the devil's advocate here and be a little more sympathetic towards the guy, because that is a lot of stress.
I understand that, but as a job in the film industry, you're given this chance, Greg, to actually do a huge project, get your name out there. You do what you got to do.
Yeah, but also too, that's also depending on whether or not how much, like with Fox and everybody, they want to beat Marvel. They want to do something. This is going to rival.
I will reserve, and then we got to move on. I will reserve my judgment until Josh Trank comes out in an interview and discusses what happened. Yes. I want to hear both sides.
Absolutely.
So moving into this article about whether or not Joss Whedon will direct a standalone. So now that Avengers Age of Ultron is on track, and this is taken from primetime.com, .co.uk. I don't want to get sued. We are using the article. Now that Avengers Age of Ultron is on track to hit the 1 billion mark worldwide, Disney and Marvel Studios has another bona fide comic book movie hit on their hands. Of course, that isn't a surprise. Now, despite reports that the film has underperformed at the box office only in comparison to the first outing, it seems to be chugging along nicely. Unfortunately, we'll be experiencing those movies without the help of director Josh Whedon on the next Avengers film. He is gone from them. So it's true, Whedon's now totally done with Marvel Studios, taking to the media to finally air some slight grievances about his experience with the big screen juggernaut. What's more, he's even taken a self-imposed social media exile, a Yoda, if you will. He did a Yoda. He failed, he did. He failed. So, deleting his Twitter account with the purpose of focusing on creative projects. You gotta love this day and age where deleting your Twitter profile makes news.
Yeah.
It was all over the place. It was like, this is ridiculous. But you can bet that we'll be paying for those movie tickets when those projects come to fruition. Okay, now a new report has surfaced, again, from Latino Review. Who the hell sold their soul at Latino Review where they get all the goods? You realize they're the ones breaking all these news that end up being legit?
I don't know.
It's amazing, right?
Yeah.
Finally, the Mexicans do me proud and my family. Yeah.
They're everywhere.
Yeah.
Jesus.
At last, we're not just janitors.
Hey,
we're
awesome janitor at the studio.
That's true. That claims that Whedon may actually have a future with another Power Wars franchise. They say that Disney is actively courting him to direct a future Star Wars film. The details are scant, so let's look at the facts. J.J. Abrams has already finished Star Wars The Force Awakens, the first installment of a new trilogy, which is set to hit theaters in December. Obviously, now following that, director Rian, is that how you'd say it?
Rian.
Rian or Rian? Rian sounds kind of girly. I don't think Rian. I think it's Rian. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. Rian Johnson.
Be Ryan.
That's true.
It could be Ryan.
It could be Ryan, too. We'll take on episode 8 and possibly the third installment if he does a decent job. Now, that's a conflicting rumor because we've also heard now that JJ may stay on board for another episode. And if that was the case, the previous show we talked about 2 shows ago, we talked about how the possibility of Rian Johnson being pushed to episode 9 and then JJ takes the reins on episode 8, which I think it all work good anyways because they're all, I mean, JJ wrote the treatment for episode 8, so he knows what's up. And supposedly Rian Johnson has written the treatment for episode 9. So whatever happens, they can flip flop them around, and I don't think there'll be any issues of like cohesiveness.
I think Disney wants to keep the look and feel of each movie kind of the same. So
now on the other side of things, Disney is developing standalone spin-off films. The first will be directed by Gareth Evans, and now he did Godzilla. Now I want to make a retraction here. Okay, I hated Godzilla in the theater when I saw it. The visual effects were gorgeous, but then I went back and watched it again. And I was no longer angry that they baited us with Bryan Cranston.
Yeah.
And he dies in 30 minutes. Spoiler. Like, he was the whole entire promotional actor in the movie. Like, Bryan Cranston. And then he dies. I got past that, and I realized that the movie is actually not that bad.
Yeah.
So I'm going to make a retraction. So I'm confident that Gareth Edwards can give us something good. Gareth Evans. Sorry, not Edwards.
I don't know, man.
What, you're not too sure about that?
This is Star Wars.
Well,
man.
yeah.
Godzilla.
Well, you got to remember these are the anthology series, and they are going to have a slight different feel, I'm sure. So as long as he delivers, as long as it feels like Star Wars, but delivers us something unique, which I think he might be capable of doing. I mean, he did it with Godzilla, right? Don't the Godzilla freaks say that he did a real good job capturing Godzilla?
Yeah, absolutely.
He did. It was just like the original like black and white film.
Yeah.
But it was a different take on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Gareth Evans, and will star Oscar nominee Felicity Jones, obviously we already know that, who leads a daring mission to steal the plans for the Death Star away from the Republic. The other one supposed to be directed by Josh Trank, but we now know that he is off the project. And I guess it is going to be, people are leaning on it, in fact, being the Boba Fett standalone film. There isn't still any official confirmation yet.
That it's Boba Fett.
That it's Boba Fett, but it seems to be circulating around that it is, in fact, the next standalone film will be Boba Fett, which was supposedly directed by Trank. Hence, now enter screen left, Joss Whedon. Do you think he would do, let's go around the room, round table style like we always do. Let's start with Dustin. Dustin, do you think Josh Whedon could deliver a Boba Fett film?
Oh, man. I'm very sensitive about the whole Star Wars thing, especially Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Yes, I do actually think he could probably do a very good job on it. I think he would make the Fett Man like a little bit too funny, perhaps, because Joss Whedon's movies, they have little comedy bits.
A lighthearted feel.
And I don't want to see that in a Fett film, assuming that it is a Fett film.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, David.
I'm actually really excited about this, and I actually do hope that Josh Whedon is doing the Boba Fett film, because I kind of picture the opposite of DOS, where it's like we've seen what he can do with, say, like a character who's very anti-heroish and say Firefly.
Mm-hmm. And there were some dark elements in that.
There were dark elements in that show.
Yeah.
So
specifically the movie. The movie was great.
Take a character like Boba Fett and put him in that type of scenario.
Yeah.
I think Whedon's a perfect fit for Boba Fett as a character. Because let's face it, as badass as a character that we all think Boba Fett is, he is kind of one-dimensional. We don't really know what his personality is.
As of now, right.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
We've never really known what his personality is.
That's actually a good point.
Except for a few lines here and there. So a guy like...
I mean, he is a clone of the clones we've seen, so we do know that, but he's also an unaltered clone.
Yeah, we also know that all the clones have different personalities.
Yeah.
Boba Fett really never really had that personality, and I think that Whedon as like a director and like a
is there any gay clones? Is there any gay clones? I wonder.
Yeah. There's got to be.
Yeah.
Because there was like that handicap clone during Clone Wars.
Was there a handicap clone?
Yeah.
Like he was slow?
No, that was 99.
99, yeah.
What?
Clone 99.
And he was just messed up?
Like he was messed up. He was a hunchback.
Oh, Tony, or David, are you trying to say that the gays are messed up and that was your justification? You're like, well, yeah, there's a handicap one as well. Why not?
Why not?
Oh, come on. Well, if that's something I'd like to explore though from the clone side is do you allow them? It's kind of like love will find a way, or life will find a way, like Jurassic Park. Yeah. How, no, I'm being serious for a second here. No, I'm being serious. No, hold on. No, I'm being serious for a second. Like, nature takes its course, no matter how you're made. So it would be, if that's the way they look at it, then you could have people completely change what their programming was to, in fact, be gay, or to, be more aggressive in one aspect, or maybe more soft-hearted. You have. Are they allowed to grow based on the way their surroundings?
Well,
if you will.
Remember, even in Rebels, we're going to see that with Rex.
Yeah, you know
Commander
what?
Rex
you bring that up, and that's a great point. And that's one thing I'm looking forward to in the new Star Wars Rebels season, is to kind of see how they've changed, and if they abide more to execute Order 66, or have they actually grown as individuals and become something different? Yeah. Greg, I know you're waiting. Josh Whedon on as Boba Fett. Joss Whedon.
Oh, you mean my twin?
Your twin.
Well, if I know Joss, being his twin, I have my reservations like Doss, but then also too, I think we've kind of talked about this off air, is that seeing, with Boba Fett, and you might even mention it on air in one of the shows. Boba Fett. Kind of seeing him, as he's growing, because we see a little bit of that in Clone Wars,
of course.
As him, as a budding young bounty hunter.
You make it sound like a romance novel.
Yeah, I know.
Boba Fett is a budding young man,
and then
his glutes are coming in so tight.
Whoa. Hey, he might have banged we never know. As a kid, he might have banged Asajj Ventress on that mission, so we never know.
And there's Star Wars fan fiction.
Let's get some Star Wars fan fiction on the show. We had a Star Wars fan fiction bit where we just read. We'll have Greg read Star Wars fan fiction.
And we do the Seth bits where we have the music in the background.
Execute Order 66 on my dick.
Wow. But I think if it's one of those, Jesus Christ, if we do one of those films where it's
oh man.
Let me break. Greg's losing himself. All right, Josh Whedon. Can he handle?
Felix, I'm gonna make it rain. I've got some credits for you. I hope you don't mind getting hit with metal, but I'm gonna make this bitch rain or hail.
Oh man! All right, let's get back to it. Josh Whedon.
I think depending on where they take the film, it's gonna kind of go either way. I would like to see what he does. I don't want to see it to where he's already a bounty hunter and he's going through it, because then everybody's like, well, this is how he should be, because he's stone cold and he's just after Solo. But kind of him, starting out.
Yeah.
His first couple of bounties, how he, he could very well have been, a little bit lighthearted in the beginning.
Yeah, you never know.
Because when you see him as a kid in the Clone Wars saga, you see him kind of go from I don't want to kill these people that are innocent to
Well, he was. You remember in Attack of the Clones, though, he was a little shit, though. He was happy about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is this, Salacious Crump?
Yeah. Oh man, I tend to agree with. I'm not sure where I'm at with Josh Whedon taking the reins on the standalone for Boba Fett. Yes, I see where Dustin's coming in from, dealing with the fact that I think he's a fabulous director. He's a great artist. I have no problem that he wouldn't deliver a good movie. But will it be a movie that Star Wars fans want to see because of this? And he's lighthearted, right? He is. Everything he does has some humor, and I don't know. Is there room for humor in Boba Fett's world? Who knows? Maybe it comes in from another angle. I think if it's done right, he can keep the lighthearted feel and also
still have a dark film.
Yeah.
But I want to add this real quick before we go to break, is that with Joss Whedon, if he doesn't do Boba Fett and he takes over another film, I'm still throwing in for Tarantino to do Boba Fett.
I know.
We talked about the last show that Tarantino would make a badass Boba Fett film with what he's done before. So those of you listening, tell us what you think about that. We're going to go to break and we'll be right back.
Don't go nowhere. More Bacta Tank is coming right up.
There are 10 million ways to kill Jar Jar Binks. Choose one.
Number 5.
Oh no! You can take him to Tatooine, drop him in the middle of a dewback herd, and fire several shots into the sky. And watch him get stampeded to death.
Very good.
It's a good story. I think you just can't bear to let a gorgeous guy like me out of your sight.
As you wish. Lord Vader is in his meditation chamber. Please inform him that we are coming up on the rebels.
Lord Vader? Lord Vader? What is he doing in there?
Would you fuck me? I'd fuck me. I'd fuck me hard. I'd fuck me so hard.
Lord Vader.
Oh, shit. What is it, General?
517 scanner control. 517 scanner control.
Hello, this is Stormtrooper 1, and I'm back. It was announced recently that, there's going to be a female Stormtrooper. That's hot. That's real hot. You better believe that I'll shoot first. I mean, I usually do anyways. I only last, 14 seconds, max. Usually. Sometime. Well, it's not really my fault. It's this uniform's fault. It keeps my entire body a little more sensitive. Because it's inside of the uniform. It's protected. More sensitive. Yeah.
All you Android phone users out there now have a reason to rejoice. The new Rain Man digital app is now available in the Google Play Store. Simply search Rain Man Digital and download the app today for free. And now you can take the entire Rain Man digital network anywhere you go. Supernatural The Crossroads, The Rain Man Show, Star Wars From the Bacta Tank, Critique Revolve, and Weird West Radio, all in this app. Also, we have our two 24-hour radio channels, RM001 and Crossroads 003, also included in the app. So when we broadcast live, you can now listen to our live broadcast directly from this app. Go to the Google Play Store and download Rain Man Digital. Just search Rain Man Digital and start listening.
You're listening to From the Bacta Tank on Rain Man Digital.
All right, hello everybody, we're back. Star Wars From the Bacta Tank on Rain Man Digital. If you ever miss any part of the show, you can always find us on Stitcher and iTunes. Just search From the Bacta Tank. And follow us on Twitter at From Bacta Tank as well. Though that was a very hard stop there, Mike. So, all right. So, Star Wars Force Awakens. Secret references could be the icing on the Jedi-shaped cake for filmgoers. That was a terrible headline, but I wanted to read exactly what... We need to get better headliners. I mean, these headlines seem to be getting worse and worse.
Welcome to internet journalism.
Well, the other day I saw one that was related to Supernatural, and they were talking shit about the show, the television show Supernatural, and it starts off, it's IO9, and they're a pretty legit blog source, right? Why do you start a headline? Ugh. That's how it starts. Ugh. I'm like, really? Can we
They're going to start adding this stuff into like the dictionaries as official language.
I mean, Can you guys be professional and not use ugh as a headline? That's terrible journalism. I don't care if you're a blog site. If you're IO9 and you have millions of readers, guess what? Let's step your game up, right?
Yeah, yes. But dude, you gotta understand, in this day and age, people don't care about grammar anymore when it comes to the internet.
I care about stupidity. What about stupidity? Let me care about that. All right, so Star Wars Force Awakens secret references. I think that's something that it's not really much of a leak of information here, but it's also something interesting that we can discuss and kind of dissect. I think we all know that with Marvel with Disney taking the reins, that they've already said that, well, Disney buying Lucasfilm, I should say, they already said first off that their plan was to kind of do it like Marvel style, where everything's connected. There's going to be little like breadcrumbs throughout the Star Wars movies that are all going to link to each other in a way. Now, this article says that The Force Awakens will be packed full of secret sly references to Return of the Jedi and other films. According to an interview with J.J. Abrams, the director and co-writer for Episode 7 has revealed that it may take place 30-something years. Okay, obviously we already know that. And there will be nods to the past. I mean, isn't that kind of a given? We kind of already figured there would.
Yeah,
they can't just. But they're not going to Highlander 2 this bitch and pretend the other ones didn't exist. I mean, they're
goddamn Highlander 2.
I know they're going to. They have to. Obviously, they're going to keep everything connected. It makes sense. But I guess what the article's saying is that reassuring people that there's going to be more than just, hey guys, remember back in Return of the Jedi when we fought the enemy and the Ewoks celebrated. It's going to be more than just that stuff. There's going to be direct conversation.
Hey guys, do you remember my dad back in Return of the Jedi hulked out and lifted the Emperor over his head and gorilla press slammed him into the electrical tanks? Yeah, I remember that. My dad died. I found out he was white, but he sounded like he was a black guy.
Oh, Greg!
Like, if that's what it's gonna be, then like I'm gonna be like, well, or I guess that's what we're gonna get. But then I'm also gonna laugh because he's just gonna be sitting. He's gonna go, hey, if your lightsaber turned into a hot dog or a tauntaun cookie, would you eat it?
Tauntaun cookie.
You guys remember back when Tauntaun cottage cheese was fresh and not made?
Oh, here we go.
It's not GMO'd.
It's not GMO'd. Really? Nah.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep going.
All right. So speaking to Vanity Fair, the man behind the December-bound movie pointed out what fans should be looking for. He said, so there are, of course, references to things, and some are very oblique, some that hopefully the audience can infer what the characters are referring to. He says, we used to have more references to things that we pulled out because they almost felt like they were trying too hard to allude to something. And you know what? I'm glad they were able to take a step back. I'm like, because you know what? That's definitely a risk because JJ, it's like us doing this movie. Okay. Imagine us doing this movie. Yeah. We would do stuff like what Greg just did. We would remember when Darth Vader, fought? We would do stuff like that. JJ is a fan. So I could see how it could easily be put in like, oh, we got to tie this in. We got to allude to this.
Yeah.
And it was good that he could take a step back, look at what they got and say, yeah, that's a little. That's too much on the nose. It's too much on the nose.
Here's the one thing that that's gonna happen with this is that fans like us and people that have watched the films are gonna get all these references and be like, I kind of remember that.
Right.
Let me go back and watch those films. So you're gonna get the people going in there going, why are they starting with episode 7?
Yeah.
I mean, where's one?
Wait, hold on. Do you think there'll be people that do that?
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Star Wars is a beast of itself. Like everybody has pretty much knows what's going on with Star Wars.
I've met people that have never watched Star Wars.
Yeah,
same here.
And they go,
you know
and
what?
they're like,
listen, can we start? We should bring back Hitler and and redesign him so that he doesn't hate Jews, but he hates people who haven't watched Star Wars yet. And we'll start a Gestapo police that just go around shooting people who've never seen Star Wars. How have you not seen Star Wars in 30 plus years?
I mean, even if you've only seen the prequels.
If you haven't seen Star Wars, don't talk to me.
Yeah, so I kind of foresee that. Like, I'm going to see people going, I went and watched it.
Like,
and
listen, I'll start a scourge that this world's never seen before. Okay, people will be instead of saying, "Hey, you're hating Jews," yes, they're gonna be like, "You're hating non-Star Wars fans," yes, because I will find all of them.
We will start the First Order, Mike.
Yes,
that will be us.
Great, Mike is Kylo Ren.
Yeah, non-Star Wars fans, come over here to the showers.
It's good.
Non-Star Wars fans only.
Yes.
Just breathe in.
Have you seen Star Wars? No. Come here. I'm going to skin you like a Gungan.
Yeah.
Who was your favorite Star Wars character? I like that Jar Jar Binks.
Boom. Dead.
But he saw Star Wars. Wrong character. Wrong answer. Wrong answer. Boss and ass. Sorry.
All right. So Abrams added, I think that the key is, whether we've accomplished that or not, is of course up to the audience. But the key is that the references be essential so that you don't reference a lot of things that you feel like, oh, we're laying the pipe for. But an animated series or further movies, it should feel like things are being referenced for a season. You know what? And I mean, like they've done. I think they've done a good job with Marvel. They do it similar to Marvel. I think that's okay. I just hope they don't get us crazy. If you look, I finally for once saw the problem. Even though I really liked the Avengers Age of Ultron movie, I really did enjoy it. But, however, I could see now where it can really get messy if you're not careful. Like, they need to take a step back in the next Avengers movie and kind of like rein it in, a little bit, because you go and see that movie. The movie was great because I've seen every single movie. I'm a fan of what they've done. But imagine if you just saw the first Avengers movie, because that's just how you are. A lot of people are like that. That movie feels like you're thrown in the middle. I mean, even Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was actually leading. You know why if you guys don't watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Avengers Age of Ultron picked up. You know how it starts with the middle of them in the middle of a fight scene? It's because Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. ended their episode right where the Avengers were about to attack the last Hydra stronghold.
Yeah.
So, and I guess if you've never seen it, who cares? Like, you'll go, whatever, they're in the middle of a battle, we're just thrown in, who cares? But taking a step back from being a fan, I could see where it could easily get really messy. And hopefully they're very careful with Star Wars. Like, lay breadcrumbs there for the fans. But don't be as heavy with it as Marvel was, because if you are, it's going to create problems. Because we at the same time, we want our Star Wars movies to connect, but we also want our Star Wars episodes, the Skywalker storyline, we want that to feel like the other ones felt like. And if you start throwing in all these breadcrumbs in 7, 8, and 9, it's going to feel like one convoluted storyline. Yeah. If you're trying to throw in Boba Fett story and you're trying to throw in a Felicity Jones story for Rogue One, I think if they're not careful, it'll feel like something entirely different and not like Star Wars anymore. Do you guys get that?
That makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. But I mean, even not comparing it to Marvel, JJ himself, I mean, look what he's done for the Star Trek films. He's very smart. Yeah. And laying little breadcrumbs.
Yeah, but I mean that too. There's Star Trek has that history just like Star Wars does.
Mm-hmm.
And with Star Trek, I don't think he really had Disney or Lucasfilms kind of behind him, kind of.
No, but I mean, even when he was working on that, I mean, his style, what he did during those two movies, he laid little Easter eggs here and there, but it didn't take away from the film.
Well, it was like when Zachary Quinto screams Khan in that part.
Yeah.
A lot of us would snicker and be like, "Yeah, that's pretty crazy." A lot of people have no idea what we're referring to.
You know what? You make a good point, Dustin. There's a lot of new audiences who never saw the old Star Trek movies who kind of came onto the Star Trek, bandwagon when the new movies came out because they're more updated. And that was the whole point. That was the reason why JJ was brought on board to redo Star Trek, was so that they can make it for mass audiences again and not just the small Star Trek elite. And yeah, that's a good point. I mean, so maybe we're gonna have to wait and see. Obviously,
it's a wait and see type of issue.
But that does segue into our next bit of information here pertaining to, again, take this, guys, as a grain of salt. This next rumor here, okay? And there are going to be some spoilers here. So if you're one of those people who don't want to know anything about Episode 7, you might want to take your headphones off for a few minutes. But according to the Nerdist, they're reporting on a site that Movie Pilot first released. Now, again, take this into account. Movie Pilot actually removed the article.
Yes.
So I don't know if they released information that was sensitive and they were threatened by Lucasfilm to get it off, or Disney saying, guys, this is, how'd you get this? You guys are reporting stolen information. Guess what? We're going to sue you guys. Because they removed it, but now it's too late because the Nerdist picked it up. Other people now have picked it up. Now, according to this rumor, Star Wars The Force Awakens rumor, Max von Sydow is, in fact, spoiler alert here, going to be Boba Fett.
Bobo? You mean Boba?
Bubba. Why you guys always question the way I say it? I mispronounce things. Just Bobo. Yeah, Mr. Fett. There we go. So it looks like that jetpack, sorry, not a jerk-pack. Jesus. Listen, my pop screen was in my way. I can barely read.
You're a mean one, Mr. Fett.
It still had some fuel in it after all, according to a new rumor making its way around that twisting Kessel Run we can call the internet. Max von Sydow's mysterious role in Star Wars The Force Awakens will be everyone's favorite Mandalorian mercenary, Boba Fett. Sorry, Jango fans, he's still dead. Now, people are like, well, how's that possible? He was in the Sarlacc pit at the end of Episode 6. I mean, we already know in the retconned canon universe of Star Wars, the old expanded universe, we already know he was brought back. So the first thing people thought was, I know I was as a Fett fan, like, oh man, he's dead again, and they're going to have to bring him back, right? He's everyone's favorite character. Hopefully, we're going to see some instances that he's going to be coming back. And according to this rumor here, I guess it's going to be ending kind of a late reveal that you're going to see his character. He's supposedly going to have Max von Sydow, supposedly going to have like cybernetic parts on him, like almost like cyborgish. Character, and you're not going to really make the connection that he's in fact Fett. But according to sources, we're going to see him throughout the movie, and then at the end of episode 7, it's going to be revealed that he's actually Boba Fett. So,
yeah.
Well,
is it?
But hold on.
DOS?
Okay, hold on. I'm going to say this, and we're going to move past. We're going to move past this. I'm going to mention Battlefront. We're not going to get into the Battlefront argument.
All right.
I'm going to mention this. If you watch the trailer, it has Boba Fett flying out of the Sarlacc pit, which everybody's stating and everybody's going with that shows that he is still alive, that he has risen, that the Fett has risen, and that he is back, because the game takes place in between Return of the Jedi and Force Awakens. There's no backstory.
But you don't think Battlefront will be the story that reveals his return, right? I mean,
I don't. You know what? I don't know. I'm not going to say. I'm not going to say yes, because there's also a book coming out.
I think that'd be kind of weak
based on Battlefront.
Oh, listen, they can't do a book and they can't do a video game. If you're going to bring back Fett at this level, at this time in the game now, how things are, you got to bring it back in a movie first.
But I'm saying based on the trailer, they show that, so they could show that, and then in The Force Awakens, they could reveal, if they do the big reveal at the end, that he reveals, oh, I survived the Sarlacc pit, and he explains how. But again, with the way the internet is and the way people can live stream from your Xbox, from the Xbox One or the PlayStation 4, that if that footage is in there, that it shows that him surviving, that'll be up on YouTube within the first 2 days of somebody beating it, which will be within the first 2 days of the game's release.
And you gotta give some credence to the fact that everyone's been talking that the standalone movie, there's going to be a Boba Fett film.
Yeah.
So why would they make it? I know Boba Fett's a badass character, and we would love to see him in a standalone. But how would that? We all know that the standalone movies also have to connect to the 3 new movies.
But they're not stating that they're in between all 3. So this one, so the Boba Fett one could essentially take place between Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens.
Mm-hmm.
The only leak I'm stating here is if you watch the Battlefront trailer.
Yeah, you see Boba Fett flying
him
around.
flying out of the Sarlacc pit.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Lucas came out and said that Boba Fett's not dead.
Yeah.
And that he did, crawl out of the Sarlacc pit. So does that make it canon?
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can take it for what it's worth, because what I've been doing is I've been trying to listen through all the books that are connected in the new universe, or read them or listen to them. And so far, like, I see the list of how they're coming out, and there's a bunch of them that aren't like announced, as far as like they're announced, but they're not announced as what they're about. And there's one for Battlefront.
Yeah.
But whether or not what that story is going to be in that, I don't know. So, I'll have more once those come out and we all can actually.
I would be interested. I would be okay with Boba Fett making an appearance in episode 7, because it makes sense. He's part of that world.
Yes.
He's part of that world. So seeing him in some small aspect would be cool and would be a great head nod. And those are one of the ones that I would stand behind. Like, I'm okay with those. And it doesn't even need to be a direct connection to episode 7 later, but at least we know he's alive.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine how much jizz we're going to shoot when we Boba Fett's revealed.
And
I think that's just going to be, it's going to be one of those points in the, I mean, I think it's decided that, all of us are going to we're going to go see it as a group.
Yeah.
As a show instead of like,
I'm going to do a live recording during the show. A live broadcast.
Whoa. Oh, fuck. Oh, God.
We'd be massively sued.
And plus, going back to like what Das says, I mean, is it far-fetched? Not really, because if this article is true.
But is it a stretch that's in Max von Sydow's character?
Really.
You think they're
No, because like if you think about it, he said it's hidden by cybernetic modifications.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean it's a stretch in any way, shape, or form, just like with the other characters. It might be less of a stretch, but a stretch nonetheless. And I even because I remember I put this article on Mike's Facebook page, and we even had a short conversation about it, that we'd be okay with him being Boba Fett. But again, I mean,
he's definitely a good actor.
Yeah,
I would be okay with someone play. It's going to be hard because, I mean, the other guy, the actor that I always forget his name, the actor that plays the clones and Fett. I mean, he's so iconic at this point.
Yeah,
he has such a good look, and technically, couldn't he play him in that time frame? And technically,
but. If we're going,
how old would Fett be technically? Okay, he was like what, 5? He was 5 in Attack of the Clones, or 7 or 8, let's say, right? 7 or 8, possibly. Okay, let's add 30 years. Add 30 years. So he's 40. Add another 30 years into this, 67. Oh, he'd be like 80 years old.
But also, you got to also throw into the fact that Well, put it like this. Here's what I'm thinking. Boba Fett flies out of the Sarlacc, right?
Yeah, back.
He flies out of the Sarlacc, and he looks just like he stays looking like the original actor, right?
Mm-hmm.
No damage done to him,
right?
Or is it more plausible that he gets out of there and he's so beaten up that all these cybernetic modifications he had to do is what saves him,
and then he looks different. Oh, I could buy. You know what?
See? Write that out. Put it on a site and say it's a plot leak.
Disney comes knocking on my door.
Yeah.
I didn't.
But again, it's one of those things where, like Doss said, all we have is kind of rumors.
All we have is rumors.
But again, like that's kind of the thing that fuels the hunger for it. That makes our anger grow. Yes.
Using Star Wars lines here to prove his point.
Exactly. But I mean, once the movie comes out, I think for us as fans, I think this is something that we've all been waiting for.
Yeah.
For a very long time.
And I think, whichever ones are true, whichever ones aren't, if none of them are, and it's just all stuff that Disney has kind of been putting out there, like I've said in, previous show, like that they kind of throw these out there, like for people to chew on and be like, oh my God, that's horrible. And they go see it. And they're like, oh, this was never true. Like, oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm
still wondering if Lucasfilm is just because if I was JJ, this is what I would do because you can't stop the rumors, right? You can't stop the signal mill. So like what I think you should do is if I was behind this team, if I was in charge of Lucasfilm, what I would, or Disney, is I would actually have a team of writers writing fake plot leaks and writing them and keep them anonymous and just write like 10 new ones every month and then put them online. Yeah, leak the information CIA style and just leak it to blog sites and make people think they're legit so that everyone's turned around so many different directions. They don't really know what the real rumor is. And then boom, that also keeps people from releasing real stuff, real information. Right. You're going to see if movie studios aren't doing it yet, you're going to see them doing that. I guarantee it eventually. Because like I said, with movies like this, man, it's almost impossible to keep things under wraps.
Yeah, I remember you mentioning that in the past. And the only thing I could see the negative towards doing something like that, like a policy like that, you would piss off so many people though.
Yeah. I agree.
It's like that video I posted, briefly. It was one of those supposed air quotes plot leaks.
Yeah.
And when my friends got a hold of it and was like, oh, the Solo twins are going to be in it. I have to say so many times, although it sounds glorious, it's probably not true.
Yeah, well, I had an argument with my brother on text message because he's like, oh, in the trailer, that's got to be like Jaina Solo. And I'm like, listen, first off, Tito, you don't, because he's a good example of a regular guy. He doesn't follow any of the Star Wars stuff. I'm like, all that stuff has been retconned. Okay, because if we were living in that time period still, Chewie wouldn't even be in the preview right now. Chewie would not be in the trailer. He's dead.
He's dead.
In the original Star Wars, expanded universe that Lucasfilm did away with. So we don't know. For all we know, Han and Leia never got together. They never had kids. We don't know. So to assume that's Jaina, I bet you that there's those Jaina and Jason, right? Is it Jaina and Jason?
Yeah. Jaina and Jason.
I bet you they're not even going to be in the movie. They're not going to exist at this point. Yeah. I mean, it's too much, man. The story revolves around Ridley. What's her name? Daisy Ridley. She's not a Skywalker, right?
Not to our knowledge.
Not to our knowledge. I mean, the story revolves around her and Boyega. And obviously Boyega is not a Skywalker. Unless some Skywalker in the last 30 years, plowed a black chick. I mean, let's just be honest. That's true. So, you know what? On that note, let's move to the next bit of news here. Diego Luna is joining Star Wars Rogue One. It was just announced that he's joining the cast of the Star Wars anthology series. Again, if you guys don't know this, all standalone films that are not directly related to the Skywalker storyline, which are the episodes 1 through 7 so far, are being titled and branded under the name anthology films. Okay, so so let's see. Star Wars Rogue One is the one that's moving at a decent clip. Gareth Edwards is directing the film with Felicity Jones in a pivotal role. Now we get word that Diego Luna has been added to the cast, but in what role? Can someone pull up Diego Luna on IMDb and let me know what else he's been in besides... because they're reporting, Variety reports that Luna is best known for his breakout role in Yi Tu Mama, Tambien. Is that Gamorrean language? Gamorrean, Yi Tu? Or is that another insult? Ichuta. Like, that's what it sounds like to me.
That's Huttese.
What, Ichuta is Huttese? Look at you, Dustin, you nerd. So stupid. Yeah, look at a nerd doing a Star Wars show calling another guy a nerd.
He's in the Book of Life as Manolo, the voice.
He was in Milk.
Milk. Oh, with Sean Penn. Interesting. So he's a pretty.
He's been in the Terminal.
He looks to be like a kind of an indie favorite type actor, which might be good, knowing that Lucasfilm's really going back to the old style and really digging into the true thespian world, like digging up really good actors, not just, hey, look at this is a young happy face and he or she is popular right now and we're going to put her in this movie because like all the other movies do. They do that with actors and actors all the time. So I kind of like that, because so far, who have we gotten that's huge in Star Wars? There are no A-listers, are there? Except for the returning.
It's just been like more or less kind of like returning indie actors.
Yeah, see, I like that. It's more quality. I'm down with that.
Well, the only one I could think of is Gwendolyn Christie, but it's just because of Game of Thrones.
Yeah. Oh, man. Oh, we got to talk about that. Okay, speaking of Gwendolyn Christie, I was going to throw that in there. Her character has been revealed. Actually, her name, what is it? Captain Phantasm?
Phantasma.
Is it Phasma,
sorry.
Here, let me look it up. Captain, how do you spell that?
Phasm.
Oh, look, it's already in the Supernatural Wiki. Or not Supernatural Wiki, what am I doing? Wrong show. It's already in the Star Wars Wiki. Yeah, Captain Phasma. Now, a lot of people were kind of bitching about that name.
Magma.
But Tim... Now you ruined it for me.
Magma.
I got over it, now you ruined it for me again. But there's a lot of rumors saying that this character is the next Boba Fett, Darth Maul character. Like, could this in fact be the next? Holy shit, this character is badass. And I mean, she's in what, chrome? She's in a chrome trooper uniform.
Yes.
She's a tall woman. She's just a badass in Game of Thrones. If you guys don't watch that, she plays a knight of sorts who just mows people down. She's giant. And yeah, I mean, the fact that I'm actually stoked to see what this, out of all the characters, out of all the new characters they've revealed, this is one of the ones I'm looking forward to. And a lot of people were kind of bickering about the name, saying it's kind of stupid, but it goes back to the original Star Wars roots of, the 30s and 40s serials. Those are the type of names, that they go with, those crazy names, So I'm pretty psyched about that. I don't know whether or not hopefully they don't kill her off, because sadly in movies, the best characters in Star Wars world ends up being,
And that's why I was worried about when you mentioned that in the article. They said, oh, she's the next Boba Fett, Darth Maul type character. I'm like, oh, great, she's only going to be in one film. She's going to die just randomly.
Yeah. But if they do a cartoon, then she'll come back in the cartoon like Darth Maul did.
That would be cool.
I don't know. I mean, you know what? That was cool that they brought Darth Maul back, but nobody knows that unless you watch the Clone Wars.
Yeah. Unless you watch the Clone Wars.
Do you think they'll bring Darth Maul back in a standalone film? Do you think that's
dude? That'd be so
briefly,
badass.
And then we got to wrap the show for today. But do you think they'll bring Darth Maul back eventually?
I don't know.
I mean, it is canon. He was brought back to life.
Yeah, so he's canon.
Clone Wars is canon. It did not get retconned, so he is alive.
They actually said that Rebels might. Darth Maul might make an appearance in Rebels,
which will be cool. But what about live action type stuff?
I think it'd be cool if they did something where it's
he still has robot legs. RoboCop Darth Maul.
He has a spinning lightsaber now because he can't move his legs properly.
All right, everybody, on that note, we do need to wrap the show today. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to our first live, not our first Star Wars show. We've been doing this for almost 2 years now, but our first live Star Wars from the Bacta tank. Thank you. We will be back next week for another live broadcast at 1:15. Yes, I need those 15 minutes. So 1:15 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's 4:15 Eastern Standard Time. If you miss any part of this broadcast anytime, you always can find us on Stitcher, Smart Radio. Just search From the Bacta Tank, as well as our website, rainmanwashere.com, as well as fromthebactatank.com. Thank you, and everybody have a great night.
May the force be with us.
Thank you for listening to From the Bacta Tank. And From the Bacta Tank is executive produced by Michael Flores and Dustin Lucas. Hosted by Michael Flores, David Zabal. You can find out more about our show by going to www.fromthebactatank.com. You can also find us on Twitter at FromBactaTank, as well as Facebook, facebook.com/FromTheBactaTank.